Chat. Oh, chat. Don't you just love calm, quiet, normal Mondays where nothing big's going on, nothing significant's happening. Just a lazy day. Of course I'm kidding. Hold on. Let me get my face accounted for here. Hold on. It's being a little tricky. There we go. There it is. Hello. Welcome. As you can see, I've gone through the preparation for today fires. That's why the hair on my face and head has burned away. We've got some things to talk about. Believe me, I imagine that there's a lot on the mind. Before we get into that, I would like to say hello. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say hello. Black Fox, welcome. Congrats on the first. Brutal, Albatross, Kurgan, Dosi, Jay Rickerton, DGR Dragon, Briar, Sinner, Pantheon Pints, Alinar, Tabix, Black Fox, Zach Dies, Kurgan, Runelinks, Thawal, Raydill. Welcome to you all. Lord Smiter, Glorf in the house. Glorf, sorry, by the way, I was AFK when you messaged me in game. Guys, I've been playing the Necromancer like nonstop. I can't stand it. I can't stand not playing it. It's a thing. We'll talk about it. It's not just the Necromancer. I mean, the Necromancer's been amazing, but it's just been... Yeah, I have a problem. But anyway, I missed your... You asking if I needed a res, I think, is what it was. So, sorry about that, Glorf. We've got Just Let Me Play in the house. You're 6th, 7th. Just Let Me Play. Nice. Scrats. Well done. Skeptic, Low Riser. Good to see you. Spectre, I saw your name. I don't know if I said hello, but hello to you, Spectre. Jaskar in the house. See you, Jaskar. The 7 stream streak. That's awesome. Very cool. Over 2. Ginjon. Schwanye. What's up, Schwanye? TT in the house. What's up, TT? Good to see you all. Welcome. And, of course, in YouTube land as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Fluffy Wuffy, Dynamic Entry, Bookem, John Taggart, Binary Doe. Nice. Rory Ramshot. Your IT guy. Wow. Thanks for being here. I might have some questions. Tolmart, Game Account, Curbs, James Denny, Rimiel. Goodness gracious. Saxon, what's up, Saxon? Good to see you all. Good to see you. Dennis Bestie, what's up? Chris Frozen as well in the house. Guys, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thank you so much. Also, guys, thank you for the, Raydill with the Prime, 16 months. And my genuine thanks to you, my friend. Appreciate that. Big time. Jay Rickardson with the Tier 1 sub. The 11 months of support. Going to be an interesting stream after the announcement. It is. It is indeed. But I think we're ready, you know? Sinner, what's up? Sinner, thank you so much for the resub. The Tier 1. 13 months of support. Wipe. Win. It's a good question. Good question. In the spring. Ogre 2. Resub with the Tier 1. Thank you so much. And the 18 months of support. Ogre 2, thank you so much, man. Albatross as well, my friend. Thank you for the Tier 1. The 16 months. Yo, Joppa, let's go. Let's go to you as well, Albatross. To you as well. Okay. guys, thanks for letting me get through the hellos, and again, thank you all for being here. Let's chat a little bit about this. So today was the beginning of this couple week stretch where we have a lot of information coming out, and you guys have heard me if you've watched any of the streams, if you've been around Discord at all. You've heard us kind of tiptoeing around the fact that there's a snowball rolling. There's a lot coming up, and it's time that we start talking about that, right? It's time we start getting into the detail. Today was the first day of that. A very kind of broad overview of several, not all, but several of the things that are coming in the spring. And most notably, for many, in case you missed it, is that because of the depth and the breadth of all of the changes that are happening, we are not going to be able to bring compatible character data forward into these new systems. And I think that's the first thing to clarify, because I'm sure there are many out there thinking that, they wanted a fresh, clean slate. They want to just kind of clean everything up and kind of roll everything back and make everything fresh again. And while that, what I said on Discord earlier today is that is a nice, kind of byproduct of this. The reason that we're actually doing this is because it is a necessity. The way that systems and fundamental systems are not only changing, but being added in and kind of grafted in, it's going to make pre-existing characters. I mean, you guys know how much issue we have just when we introduce a new ability into the game that a class, was intended to get earlier. It gets very tricky when you do things like that cleanly. And so because of everything that is coming in, it's just a necessity. We have to do it. And, there's lots of different ways to look at it. Believe me, and I don't say this, lightly, but I also don't want you to take it the wrong way, because I have not invested the thousands of hours into legitimate, genuine characters like some of you have. Okay. So I'm not saying I feel what you feel. But even in the amount of time that I've been playing the characters I've been playing, I don't have a character past 20 yet, close, but not yet. But I've already had experiences and have been enjoying these characters, and it does make me a little sad. And it also reminds me that I'm only tasting the tiniest little bit, of what some of you, I'm sure, feel with the amount of time that you've put in. So, hear that first. This is not this easy breezy, everyone's going to be totally great and fine with this, and it's going to be awesome for everyone. I understand. Yeah, the Rip Smack farm, all that. But here's what I can say, and here's what's really important, and the most important thing. The most important thing is that Pantheon makes it to 1.0 in the best possible shape that it can, because we want Pantheon to be a forever game. We want it to be your forever game. And in order to make sure that it gets there and that it is as solid and as load-bearing and able to bring years and years and years of depth and enjoyment to you all, we are going to do what needs to be done to make sure that it is ready for that. That includes insanely aggressive and exciting advancements and progressive development between now and spring to bring all these things into fruition, not to mention all the new roadmap information that's going to be coming out soon to actually give you guys a heads up on everything that's actually coming, as we move throughout the year. There's some really freaking exciting things on the roadmap that some of you only dare dream about reading. And I'll leave that up to your imaginations what that will be. But this is only step one, guys. The spring update is massive, but it is the beginning of a very intense snowballing that is happening and needs to happen to bring us to launch, ready for launch. Because we got a lot of world to build. We've got 2 other continents. We've got 9 starting areas. We've got cities that are sitting empty. There's lots of stuff that needs to be done. We are... and we're going at it hard. So let me also say this. I just want to float this out there. I understand, as I've already been reading, and we went into this knowing that there's going to be some people that feel like the wind's kind of gone out of your sails, right? And I know even over the last 2, 3, 4 weeks, a lot of people have been picking the game up again and making this announcement, and then this kind of well, what do I do? If we're wiping in the spring, why should I keep playing? I want to offer a couple of thoughts on that. Number one, I want to say that I've read quite a few statements to the effect of they shouldn't have told us yet. They should have waited. It's way too early. We've got, however many months here before spring. It's way too early because now people are just going to stop playing. To that, I want to say we are learning as a company, as a studio. We have made mistakes. You've heard me say that plenty of times. One of the things that we've learned is you guys would rather us tell you sooner than later. This is a decision we made to tell you now, specifically as a result of the feedback that you guys have given us before. If we had waited however many more months it is, and then told you guys, a few weeks or even a month ahead, I am positive that the response would have been very different than it's been today. Doesn't mean that this announcement doesn't hurt. Doesn't mean that it's not felt deeply. And it is in some ways kind of a lose-lose situation because of the kind of news that it is. But we have learned that it's better to tell you sooner than later. So that is exactly what we did. Now, the reality, though, is that now we have this kind of awkward period, right, between now and when this happens. So a couple things I want to highlight. Number one, make sure you don't gloss over the fact that we are bringing a public test realm up pretty soon after the start of the new year. So keep an eye on that for exact dates, and that's going to be an awesome way to kind of see a lot of these things that we're announcing over these next few days, see them, coming into fruition. A lot of people are saying there's going to be a content drought as well, potentially between now and spring, and that's also not true. There are going to be a couple of content-related updates between now and then as well, which also, being on the public test realm will give you a chance to experience those. The other thing that we are looking into, mounts is going to be a big one as well. The other thing that we're looking into is two things, and please understand that I'm sharing these things with you as not as a promise, but as and one of them I think is a lot more likely. One of them is a little less likely, but it's still something that we're looking at. But this is where feedback from you guys would also be helpful, because full transparency, I am heavily in favor of both of these things if we can do them. Number one, we are going to we're looking at a double XP rate for all servers, all characters from now until the wipe. So as a way to kind of, if you do decide to keep playing, or if you're on the fence of whether you want to keep playing, that we want to make it faster for you to actually get in, level up, maybe see some places you haven't seen before, get a few more levels more quickly than you had. That's the thing that is I think very likely to happen. The other thing, which is a little more of a question just because of how we just need to make sure that we can do it in a way that's pretty relatively painless for us, is tweaking the item drop rates a little bit to make them a little less, make it a little more likely that you might get something cool, when you're actually, trying to get something. There's a lot of you that have not put a lot of time in Pantheon because of the experience rates, and then also, it taking days, if not a week, to get a particular item. Knowing that we're headed towards this wipe in spring, this is an opportunity for us to kind of relax that a little bit for the sake of just, having a little bit more enjoyment in the game that may come a little bit more quickly. So anyway, these are things, feel free, to discuss these, your thoughts on it, but they're things I think that will help just find some enjoyment, in the game, because again, the knowing that the wipe is coming is just something to keep in mind. And 2 times XP, I mean, that's something that that's it. We might even go higher than that, potentially. It just depends. But it's definitely having a bonus experience rate, I think, would be really, really good. What else? I think tomorrow's blog is going to be very important. I think it's going to be very foundational in kind of expectation setting. Tomorrow's blog is going to outline the changes to the moving away from chevrons and back to a kind of a unified NPC approach where you don't have the solo chevron distinction. And there's quite a bit of detail and information to go into there to break down not only how that's going to work, but how it's going to feel and kind of why we're going to do it. And it's really going to be the gateway. It's going to kind of set the stage for all of the new things and all the new information we're going to be talking about. It's going to be the place where it all kind of locks into and makes sense. But suffice it to say, and I've seen this a lot too, in various places that, questioning how big of a deal this update's going to be. It's going to be a really big deal. And, when I said this in the little short video, we put it in the article. This is about getting all of Pantheon's combat and character progression systems into this 1.0 launch state. That's, class development. That's, all kinds of various things related to combat, how it feels to engage with the world. I mean, you can't get much more fundamental than that. Some of you, this won't apply to all of you, but some of you that were around or maybe even a part of the big, huge petition that went around in our community to get rid of the chevrons, I want to just say a thank you again to all of you that contributed to that. And I know the love for this game that ultimately gave birth and gives birth to things like that. It was fun to go back to that petition and kind of study it again and comb through it, and actually pulled out a few, community quotes and comments that you guys had made in the past and incorporated them in the article to really show I think this is ultimately a shared vision of what we want Pantheon to be like and how we want it to feel. And I think one of the exciting things once we do the character reset and have all these updates come in, even for those of you that have put in hundreds, if not thousands of hours into the game, I think you are going to experience a progression and just a general character and combat and world feel experience that is going to make the game feel very, very fresh in all the right ways. The amount of things that you're going to be able to do and enjoy doing in the game, whereas right now there's that really hard line, between I can go and plunk around on these pushover NPCs solo, or I can, go get wrecking balled by NPCs unless I'm in a full group. I think the freedom that is going to be imbued back into the game is just going to be an absolute breath of fresh air. I can't wait for it. Even as I've been playing, a lot more lately, I'm very excited about it. So anyway, that's enough babbling. I will do my best to answer any questions that come up as we go along today, because as for me, I'm hopelessly addicted right now. We're going to be playing Pantheon today. I've got my Necromancer to level 16 now because I'm a goblin. We're going to be getting back on the warrior today because I want to keep pushing forward on the warrior and going to see where we can get. But these topics are just kind of, we can talk about this stuff as much as we want today. This is a big news, big deal. So feel free to ask away. I know what I'm about to say is blasphemy around here, but is there a ballpark on how long between this wipe and actual 1.0 launch? Are we a year away, 2 years away, 3 years away? I won't hold you to it. I'm trying to set expectations with people who don't follow the news as closely. T-Chief, I would love nothing more than to be able to say, this is the time frame. What I feel like I can say reasonably safely is we have a date internally that we are working towards. The reason we're not announcing it yet is because there are still a few variables in play that could, accelerate that further. And that's just not something that we want to mess with, when it comes time to actually say, and because whatever I said, regardless of what I said, no matter how much I couched it, no matter how much I padded it or caveated it to death, it would become the time frame. Whatever I said would become the time frame. And it is just of vital importance that we don't do that until we are 100% ready to lock into that time frame. Anything else, when we're talking about, like, when we say things like spring, or we say things like, for these kind of interim updates, that's different than saying launch. I do understand the question. Believe me. I get it. But it's just not something I can even comment on right now. Is the scope of the game still 3 continents? Yes, it is. By the way, Dwarf Man, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much for that. And the 12 months. And Steve Fence, the tier 1 as well, and the 9 months. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that big time. Thank you, thank you. Not only all 3 continents, but racial starting areas too. Yeah. Yes, indeed. And that includes our cities. All right, hold on. Let me just kind of process some chatter here. Thanks for babbling. It's appreciated. You bet. You bet. Joppa, can you guys add a true Shadow Knight class to the game and Winter Gnomes getting released? It would be cool to see more of a true Shadow Knight, kind of like a Knight version of the Necro come out. Did I say I've been enjoying the Necro, by the way? I don't know. I don't remember. Is Thronefast slated for 1.0? Yes, it is. Does Avelia count as a starting city? No, Avelia will not be the starting area long term. You're pushing for an early spring reset and Body of Dakar launch, correct? No pushing this back to the last second in spring. Yeah, the earlier in spring, the better as far as what we're targeting, yeah. It's definitely, we're definitely not, like, we're not saying spring so that we can wait till the very last second in spring and have all, no. It's not like that. Is Barrow Dark Cave a starting zone? No, it is not. No. Barrow Dark Cave is not. Barrow Dark Cave is a starting area right now just because of what we're working with, real estate-wise. It is not a starting area long-term. It has a very different purpose. I'm just going to continue catching up on some chat and questions here for a bit. 3 continents, 9 starting cities for 1.0, yes. When playable goblins. I think our goblins are pretty cool. We need to, before we get playable goblins, we need goblins that can be outfitted with all their armor. Do you remember what goblins are supposed to look like, by the way? Have you guys, like, looked at that in a hot minute? Have you guys seen those pictures? We need them to be able to wear that gear so that players, if they were ever to play a goblin or have like a goblin illusion or something like that, would be able to wear it. We also need to get our skeletons rendering armor and things like that. That is a tiny picture. Okay. I'll find it. A picture that's actually large enough to see. But anyway, Playable goblins win. I can't give you a win on that. Do we have a guess on when we'll see the Bard or other races? The only thing I can say about Bard right now is not coming in spring. Hey, Spooey, good to hear. Good to hear. Good to hear. FTR. As a result, you'll only ever see me say BDC. What's FTR? What did I miss? More perception, yes. Heard. Merrick, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Dark Forge for the tier 1. Thank you so much, Dark Forge. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you. Is there any consideration for a much higher percentage of bind on equip and no drop type items as we move into the post-wipe era? I feel like too much gear is farmed for alts or strictly to sell, and increasing the amount of stuff that is bound will limit this substantially. I could just go full ham on this topic, and there's a lot to say about it. We have an article dedicated to this topic coming out soon. So let's wait till we do that, because number one, I mean, again, I'm assuming that all of you are aware of this based on what we released today, but we've got a mail system coming, we've got auction house coming, we do have the addition of item controls coming, and more kind of more thoroughly. So seeing things like bind on equip will be more of a thing. No drop will certainly be a thing. But there's also a lot of other general itemization changes coming with that work together with that to make it just a huge step forward. These are things like the fact that now, for example, you, depending on your class and your level and all that stuff, and again, a lot of this will make more sense tomorrow after the article comes out, but you being able to either by yourself or with a duo or a trio or something like that, going into the bandit camps in AVP to take down Jordan Pharaoh, and not having to be level 30 to do it, being able to take down God of Pharaoh, or, make your way to Head the Rife in Hangor on your, I don't know, whatever class may or may not be capable of doing that. Player skill, gear, level, all that stuff. Those kinds of items and the items off those named NPCs will be much more available to you now as something to kind of reach for. And there's some other really good changes that we're making to items in general to make them kind of, I don't know, more, let's just wait till tomorrow, or let's just wait till the itemization article. Let's wait till that. Then we can go in a lot of detail. But I think you guys are going to be pretty happy with the changes and the overall freedom that it's going to introduce. Dennis, I hear you on the dwarfs. We still have some dwarf and ogre rendering issues. We're going to get those stamped out here pretty soon. We do plan to have dumpster diving, yes, eventually. Yes, Body of Dakara will launch with the this major update in the spring. And Body of Dakara is big. Eladamri, good question. That essentially is going to be the mastery system. The mastery system is going to be how we handle specific class. I mean, kind of a specialization type system. It's not like WoW talents. We're gonna have a nice diagram for you guys and go into great detail about mastery here in a few days. So I can't wait till we all can kind of share this knowledge and talk about it from that perspective. But yeah, you will have within your class's mastery, you will have lots of decisions to make. Some things will be more kind of defining and, you know, maybe, I don't want to say specializing because it's not quite like that. You know, the difference between something like World of Warcraft and Pantheon's Mastery is not going to shift you into a completely different role. You're not going to be like, well, I'd put it like this. Our mastery system at the end of the day is probably going to be closer to something like a rogue's talent tree in WoW, where you're not like, you know, I can go this tree and be a warrior or like a tank rogue, and I can go this tree and be like a healer rogue. It's more like, do I want to focus on my my stealth and my more kind of like assassin-like stuff? Do I want to be focusing more on my toe-to-toe combat type elements, or I want to be focusing more on like my traps and my debuffs and my alchemy? And then it goes even deeper from there. And then there will be an opportunity to specialize in it to a degree based on those three paths. So there's kind of like a mixture and a shared kind of thing, but then you do have a decision point ultimately to say, like, here's where I want my main kind of focus to be. So it's kind of like a mixture of kind of like there are some AA type elements to it. You just have to see. I mean, I feel like it's a little unique. It's a little unique. Yeah. That is a good question, Jiraki. I don't know yet. I don't know when we're going to have something visual for White Thaw yet. But we will have... I know that one of the things that we're going to be working on very soon is the kind of revisiting our overland kind of continental maps, with White Thaw and Rainfall being a little bit more kind of locked in. So that's going to be really good. Joppa getting a Steve Jobs on? Yeah. I don't know. It was time. I was so tired of it. I just had to shave it off. That's how I do it. It's like I don't even think about it. And then one day I'm like, okay. It's got to go. Gravendini, thank you so much for the tier 1, my friend. The 10 months. And Teglayan with the Prime and the 16 months. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. What level range for the new zone? You know. Wait and see. You'll have to wait and see. Just tuning in. I've been away from the Pantheon scene for a minute. I see there are a lot of really good things. Good-looking changes. Are the other races coming soon? They are, but, you know, soon is soon. They're not going to be part of the spring update that we're talking about, but with the plans for roadmaps, I think once this first roadmap rolls out, I think you guys will see kind of the level of insight that you'll have on what's coming throughout the year as we release those roadmaps. I'm not sure exactly yet how Nuff is going to do it, or maybe he told me and I don't remember if it's going to be like quarterly or what it's going to be, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, all the new content, or I'm sorry, all the new blogs that are detailing and explaining the upcoming content, they're meant to build on each other, and you're going to get insight as we go along, and that insight's going to build such that, you know, tomorrow again is a very stage setting blog. It's going to kind of set the foundation for everything to come, and then, you know, as whether we're talking about like the new kind of approach to skills and techniques, whether we're talking about the mastery system, talking about itemization, and you know, some of the like well, let me actually hold on. I'm gonna pull this up real quick. Hold on. Hmm. Oh, that's cool. Ooh. Okay, that's not what I was looking for though. Hold on. Okay. Here's a question that I want to ask you guys. When you look at the content calendar, so Spectre, to answer your question, why not the 12 days of blogs? What was that? 12 days of blogs? I think it was you that said it, Spectre. Anyway, Blogmas. I did actually suggest that. But we, you know, I don't know. I guess nobody picked it up and ran with it. But when you look at all of the update blogs that are coming out, which one are you most excited about? Which thing are you most excited about getting information on? That's what I want to know. A bunch of Christmas haters. I'm not a Christmas hater. Christmas is my favorite holiday. Are you kidding? What? Class changes, roadmap, roadmap. I really would have thought some of you would have mentioned the roadmap. There's one for crafting, mastery, summoner, itemization, combat. I like that one. Mastery, yes. Yes. Okay, cool. I should do a poll, shouldn't I? I don't interact with polls enough, guys. I need to. Let's do one. That'd be fun. We're going to do a quick poll. I use polls so little, in fact, I don't even remember what the button looks like. Okay, there we go. So which update is your most anticipated? That would be the question. We've got roadmap. We've got classes plus mastery. We've got itemization. We've got unified NPCs. And we've got crafting plus gathering. There we go. Let's see. That's not everything. I know everything's not on there, but hopefully that's most things. Most things. I mean, granted, roadmap and classes plus mastery are both pretty stacked. Crafting and gathering is pretty stacked as well. I don't know if that was quite fair. As far as gear goes, are we ever leaving Browntown? Yeah. Yeah. We have to leave Browntown. Or I might have to leave. We got to get out of the current gear visuals we have. What's up, Tanhawk? It looks like, wow, it's classes and mastery, or who would have thought that that would have been a popular one? I'm going to get the game opening here while we're talking about this, because any time that I'm not spending playing right now is time that I would rather be playing. Like I said, we're getting back on the warrior. Oh, and I totally forgot to mention, like, the whole lighting situation. Yeah, we're gonna have some improvements and some fixes coming up on that with the next patch, if things continue to go according to plan. Because my goodness, the lighting right now is something else. Ooh, no bueno. No bueno. All right, Classes of Mastery 1. Wow. I mean, I knew that would be a popular one, but I guess I thought that roadmaps would win. But the good news is they're all coming. So, you know, whichever one's your favorite, it's a coming. Turn on triple experience now. Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't mind that. Maybe Ting Jing. We'll see. We'll see. No, it's not no more night. It's just the night as it is currently. So, what happened is the last patch, the very last patch that we did, we fixed an issue with daytime shadows that were making them too harsh, too intense. And even though we tested that, spot tested that, apparently didn't test it quite thoroughly enough, because nighttime shadows particularly during the two problematic transition periods, were just crazy dark. So, yeah. By the way, I need to know something. Can we do Mad Run Spiders like we did last time on the Rogue at level 16? Is level 16 high enough level to do Mad Run Spiders? Beautiful. That's all I needed to know, because do you understand? Do you understand how badly I want to get my Necromancer higher level? I need you to understand that. Okay. Yeah, no more Vanta. That's what we're getting at. No more Vanta Black. That's what we don't want. What is new in the works today? Well, Jaren, I would say, if you haven't yet, go read the announcement for today about what's coming. Yes. And it is a big one. It is a big one. The announcement is a link to our dev blog that we released today, the first dev blog in a series of dev blogs. In fact, we'll be releasing them almost daily for the next couple of weeks, because there's a lot of stuff coming. And hold on tight. Hold on tight. Yeah, I'll post the link here. Let me do that real quick. Get off the lift. There you go. Yeah, that's true too. Let me pull up the thread. Maybe we can cross-pollinate a little bit here with some of the wipe questions. Let's see. Okay, so one of the questions that he answered was one of the questions that was asked was, are there any changes coming to shards, the way shards work? And the answer to that is not. There are no changes to the way shards work that are in scope for the spring update, but we do plan to have quite a few changes to the way shards work incorporated in time for 1.0. As well as other things we've talked about with like instancing and things like that that are all kind of somewhat related to that. And then, keep an ear out for, what we're planning to do as far as servers go with how we have our servers structured for the spring update. Could be some interesting updates there, I should say. Are the cats Bronson's working on to be tameable? No, they are not. Is VR okay with a huge player decline that people are predicting till spring? Well, yeah, I mean, to the extent that, guys, it's such an interesting thing. Yes, on at least one, if not many levels, yes, because, I get it. But that's why, we're looking at doing an experience bonus. We're looking at potentially tweaking some drop rates on things to make it a little bit more of an enjoyable experience. If you do, decide to keep logging in and playing and all that, because, I mean, obviously there's still a ton of things in the game that people haven't experienced yet. And so, but, we're an EA game. We've got a public test realm launching early next year. Wipes, they suck. Like on some levels they do, because it is what it is. Like, they have to happen. They're a necessary thing. There is a way in which they suck, but there's also ways in which they are incredibly helpful. In our case, it's unavoidable. And so I think it's going to take some people some time to kind of like process it. And I would fully understand if there are people that need to maybe walk away for a little bit. I mean, in some ways, it's not an exact one-to-one, but in some ways it kind of reminds me of like eating a really, really bad death, like in an MMO, where there are times when it happens, and then all you want to do is just walk away. Like, you don't even want to deal with it. You just log out and you're like, I don't want to, I just lost so many, hours of grinding and all this stuff, and it's going to be hard to get back. And it's like, all you're feeling in that moment is like, and it takes some time to kind of recalibrate. And that's why we've announced it as early. We've announced it as early as we have, because we don't want to spring it on you guys last minute, because there needs to be time to process. There needs to be time to kind of like recalibrate. But that's why we announced it in tandem with all of the updates that are coming, because if we were doing a full character reset and then it's like the game was just going to be the exact same, I mean, that would be terrible. And we wouldn't do that. That's why we haven't done that until now. Even when people would look back and say like, well, you could have done a wipe then and done a wipe then. Well, we could have, but we didn't, for the same reasons that we've been not wiping, which is we wanted to wait until it was either just, for all intents and purposes, the right time, or also until we were forced into doing so. And in some ways, this is kind of a dual moment, because we have to do it, and it coincides now with so many updates. And those updates are key. Like, when you read the updates and you see everything that's coming to the game and what the actual game's going to be like in the spring, it's like, It's not as if you're just everything's going to get reset and then you're just playing the exact same game again. It's very, very not the case. Super Trash Garbage, thank you so much for the gift of membership. Thank you. That's awesome. Really appreciate that, man. I still stick by the mentality that a wipe is a good thing, especially with the new updates. I feel like that was the that was what the pledge system was for back. Oh, you respond to somebody. Okay. Better to say last minute of wipe and not now. Really, you think a bit for player? Well, if what you're saying is it would have been better to wait to announce the wipe until it was closer to actually happening or imminently happening, I disagree with that. I do understand that it's kind of a, it's like there's a good bit of time between now and when the wipe's happening. But what we've learned, the bruises that we've taken on this project have often been related to doing exactly that, waiting to let people know what was coming. And I think it's just better to do it sooner than later in this case. If we can, come up with some ways to make playing as it is right now a little more enjoyable with, an experience bonus and maybe a couple of other tweaks, then we got the PTR coming up. I mean, I keep repeating myself, but that's kind of where I'm at, yeah. It is a double-edged sword, though. It is, for sure. Are you planning on to keep group Chevron mobs in the game? No. Nope. Idealistic, we are not. Actually, the blog we're putting out tomorrow is focused on that exactly, how we are taking them out and what that's going to mean. Yeah. And I've said it before, guys, and, it bears repeating, and it's just one of those things that just have to be aware of. EA games, they rise, the numbers rise, they go down, they go up, they go down. Like, at the end of the day, when you're playing an EA game, you are playing with a mind on release. Like, you're looking for when this game is going to release, be, that 1.0 tag is like, it's so important. And so population going up, going down, there's new games that are going to be coming along as we're continuing to march forward towards 1.0. And it's very natural, for things to ebb and flow a little bit, but we are making the decision that we need to make. And it is going to be one of the most seismic, if not the most seismic updates to the game to date. And I think, honestly, especially with the public test realm being up earlier after the start of the year, the new year, I think there's going to be a lot of chatter, and it's going to be very clear. Because that's what it's when I... Anyway, I'm not going to go down that route. Anyway, all I was going to say is it's going to be very clear what's happening, what we're doing, and that chatter is going to be, out there. And I think by the time spring rolls around and these updates hit, I think it's going to have a lot of pulling power. I really do. I think it's going to have a lot of pulling power. I really do. I've got this terrible game I've been playing called My Job. I wish I could quit it. It takes like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Do I ever see a time when I'm able to do some dev streams again? I miss Ronik. I miss having Ronik on here as well. Those were really fun. It'd be good to get Ronik on here again. Ronik, if you're listening, We need to get you on here again. Haven't been this excited about a 1.0 release since Rift. Awesome. Empyrean, thank you so much for the Prime. Questar, thank you for the tier 1 in the 13 months. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, thank you. Watching him kill me was almost as fun as watching me jump off cliffs and kill myself. I didn't laugh at that, but that's funny. Now, as the conversation continues, let's figure out what in the world we're doing here. If you did not see the original Warrior kind of first video, we got to level 5. And what's really funny, kind of, about what the Warrior experience has been like so far as it relates to kind of the information we're putting out right now, these updates, and the one that's going out tomorrow specifically, these first 5 levels of the Warrior have been the most enjoyable for me from an overall experience than any of the other classes I've played so far. And one of the reasons for that, in case you missed it, you look at my inventory here. Right now on this level 5, I have a tunic with +1 strength. I've got pants with +1 stamina and boots with +1 strength. This is the first character, because all these characters I'm playing, I can't call it solo self-found anymore, because I am interacting with other players more than I am allowed to with that designation. So this is more of just a self-found. This is a self and group found playthrough. And of all the characters that I've done these playthroughs on, this is the first character by level 5 that I have any equipment with stats on them. And it was a very organic process of finding them, because what I remembered was we have these corrupted sprout bones that spawn around Sorhireth. And when we first implemented these NPCs, they were actually elite NPCs. They were Chevron NPCs. And I don't remember at this point if it was before EA launched or shortly after, but I remember that players were having a really hard time with them because they kind of roam around the starting area, and they were really tough. They were like level 4 or 5 Chevron NPCs, but because they were Chevrons, they had those uncommon statted drops. Well, we changed them from Chevron to solo, and they're still in the game. And I was just meandering around, found a couple of sprout bones, started killing them once I was able to, and one of them dropped a piece of gear with +1 strength. And it totally changed the experience, where now instead of just trying to level up because I want to get to a point where I can like group up with somebody and go somewhere where there's actually stuff that, you know, maybe interests me or can progress my character, I'm still doing that. But now it's like, oh my gosh, there's actually NPCs here that I can take that have a chance to drop something that I can use, and that's actually feels like a progression. And it was like, I'm hooked. Like, this is awesome. And there'd been such a drought of that experience on so many characters that I was like, this is the best thing ever. And so that's what I did on this character for a while, is I was fighting those sprout bones and got 3 pieces of statted gear. And nothing crazy, obviously, like just a single stat. Got like an upgraded dagger, a 4 damage dagger. And I have been absolutely loving it. So that's where we left off. We got to level 5. We confirmed that the little hobgoblins here drop the bag of scraps, which is an awesome early money-making tool or item. And we killed a bunch of sprout bones. 5 stamina leather belt. What? Where? Here we go. Oh, wait, let's use Storm. We haven't used that yet. Boom. That's absolutely the thing I was talking about a few weeks back, and the feeling I got initially with the Orcs and AVP, and then how it kind of... Yeah, the Orcs and AVP are great as well. In fact, my Necromancer so far, I'm level 16. I've been in AVP, I guess, since like level 10. Maybe? And AVP's been okay. It's been okay. I've been leveling up on the trappers a lot and been killing them a lot. A lot of you've seen me there. We've connected there a few times. But then, you know, thicket stalkers, the bears, the whatever the spindle leg spiders, I think is what they're called. It's been okay. It's been okay. I've enjoyed it. But man, like, as soon as I hit 15 and I could start actually kind of like holding my own over on Orc Highway, it was awesome. And I've been talking to some of the other designers and saying, like, you know, guys, like, this is... We need more of this. We need more content like this. And we're about to have it. You know, come spring, like, it's going to be amazing. And then the blog tomorrow will kind of outline how we're planning on still maintaining, you know, challenge and things that are more suitable for small groups and even full groups within this new approach. But on the whole, it's just going to be so good. So good. I hear people talking about double XP. Is that happening pre-wipe? What I said is we are looking at doing a couple of things potentially to, now that the wipe's been announced, make you know, playing currently a little more enjoyable. And one of the things that we're looking at that still needs to go through programming, that still needs to be, you know, like fully 100% ratified. Like, yes, we can do this. Yes, this is easy to do, and or, you know, we can handle doing this with you know, the copious amounts of things we're doing on the way to spring. It seems like it's trending in that direction, that it's going to be very doable. I'm being super, like, caveat heavy right now, guys, just to, like, be real safe in expectation setting. But we are definitely looking at making that happen if we can, for sure. Because I think that would feel really good. And I think that would probably, you know, do a lot to bring people back to, you know, who maybe fizzled out because you just kind of hit that experience wall. Which is yet another thing we're going to be doing a whole blog about, with leveling rates and how we're going to be adjusting the experience system and what you can expect there. But expect, once we do the character reset and we do the major updates in spring, that the leveling process is going to feel a whole lot better. Yeah, super trash. The Orc camps. I'm talking about Orc Highway past Towner Cave, yeah. Yeah, Spectre, we just had a call before. The only reason I'm being this, like, kind of direct and talking about it this much is because we had a call before the stream, and everyone agreed that that's something that we really want to do, and we all agreed that it would be a relatively light lift. The drop rate is the one that's a little more of a question mark, because we're not sure quite yet how we want to handle it, number one, and then what the lift would be if we did it. So that one's very much still in the realm of may or may not happen. Don't get your heart set on it. But yeah. Come on, I want some more sprout bones. Where'd they go? Isn't this the spot? I mean, it's not like I can see anything. No, wait a second. No. Hold on. If we're going to find this... Hey, it's Glorfunk! Yes! Hey, Glorf. Best way to find this place is going to be... I think I can find it at nighttime. I need to get back to the city first, though. I'm stoked for the wipe. A friend and I left a few months back for a break, and now we're foaming at the mouth for a fresh start and new updates. Nice. I mean, that's like, yeah, that's like the ideal spot for the news to hit you, for sure. Zoto, hey, where are we going? What's the plan? Gentlemen, I have mixed feelings about this wipe. I just started playing this game with some friends, and on one hand, I'm kind of wondering if it is even worth continuing to push content, and on the other, I'm excited to have an actual chance to catch up to the people who have been playing a while. Yeah, that's I think that's probably, to some degree, Empyrean, where a lot of people are at right now, is right in that spot of like, even if they haven't just started playing, there's a lot of people who've been playing and only recently in the last month or so kind of had a renewed surge of interest to play again. And let's do a goblin camp. I haven't done an actual jungle goblin camp yet. That'd be fun. I've been wanting to do that. But they're kind of right in that same spot of like, you know, with this news, do I keep playing or do I wait? And I hope everybody keeps playing. I mean, we've got Mounts and Taming, that whole Mounts and Taming system coming out very soon. That's going to be a big one. I think that a lot of people are going to want to check out. We do have a few more content drops coming between now and spring, like actual new content coming that I think people will want to see. If we're able to do the experience bonus, I think that is definitely going to incentivize players, you know, to push a little further than they might have otherwise. See where they can get. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, ultimately, like, if the game's fun, like, if it's fun, which I certainly, I think it is. I mean, granted, a lot of you have put a lot of time into it, but if you're enjoying playing, you know, maybe there's a perspective shift. I don't know. That can happen there. That'll keep the door open. And if you do feel like you need to take a break, then that's cool too. It's just the goal for us is going to be to get you back in here come spring. You know? It's going to be wild though. I mean, it's been such a long time. It's going to be pretty wild just to see everybody back down at the very lowest levels again. That's going to be crazy. Yeah, it's to see. I get it. I get it. And the goal in that situation is to make sure when you guys come back in the spring that you're like, oh, my sweet Christmas, like this is the game I want. You know, this is the game I want to play. Just like you feel now, but even more so. Because it's going to be, I mean, oh, I'm so excited. Whew. It's fun, Joppa. I just wish I had more world building and lore. Yeah, me too. I wish that too. It's coming. It's coming. This is the game on Christmas morning as the sun was setting in the east. Yes. Yes, that's right. That's correct. Jaskar, thank you so much, my friend. The tier months, or the tier 1 in the 12 months. Thank you. Thank you, Jaskar. Gotta say, it's refreshing to see you having fun again. It has been so fun. Like, streaming has been so fun. Playing the game has been so fun. Like, It's yeah. I mean, this is what I do. Like in meetings, I'm playing Pantheon, and when I'm working on one of the dev blogs, I'm got Pantheon up and I'm resting, and then I'll work on a little bit, tab over, get a couple more kills, and then keep. I mean, I am. It's bad. It's bad. It's really bad. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm tanking. This is a totally different mindset than I've had on like all the other characters I've been playing. So I think I saw somebody ask earlier, like, is this my first tank? Yes, it is. Now I'm also tanking with I'm sure you guys aren't twinked at all. And listen, it's okay. Don't worry about, making sure I can tank. Like, if you want to just let loose, that's fine. It is all good. Has the team come to a decision on whether we will be limited to gathering skills or if we can gather any and everything? I will answer with the caveat that ultimately Neff needs to kind of confirm for sure what he's wanting for that. That's just that is just entirely his bag. But if I remember the last time he and I talked about it, which wasn't all that long ago, I'm pretty sure the idea was for to make a decision that you would have to decide both for your crafting professions and your gathering professions. Or perhaps, I think I've heard him mention before too, the idea that you could take everything up to a certain point, potentially. Ooh, this thing's big. Like, scary. This one might have to be glorfed. Yeah, to finish that thought, the idea that you could potentially take things up to a certain point, like everything, but then you were going to have to specialize in a couple of things. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true too, Jiraki. Thanks for the reminder. With all these things, like, for the things that we have blogs coming out on, that's going to be, for sure, the best way to get that really kind of distilled down, very clear. This is going to be intense. Your climbing skill wasn't updating in your character sheet? I don't know. It's all good, Zota. Sometimes with like skill updates like that, if they don't show up right away, if you close the inventory and open it back up, it'll update. I don't think I've ever seen that myself, so I'm not sure if something different's happening with climbing. Oh, Joppa, if any animals should be tameable and mountable, gators. Gators are cool and cute. Well, fluffy wuffy. I don't know. I don't know about that. How are we surviving this? Really, Jason? Okay. I know there's a little bit of weirdness with skill ups on certain things, especially if the class doesn't like start with the skill in the list. It can be a little weird. There's a lot of really good updates coming to skills as well. Like, honestly, it's one of the things I'm most excited about because it's, in a way, I mean, it's the sum of the parts, but I don't like how kind of mindless our skills feel right now. Like, you need them. but they just kind of, I don't know, you don't really have to like really invest time and effort and intentionality. And same with techniques. Like, I think the thing I don't love about our techniques currently is that since they populate automatically, you just don't really develop much of a bond or a connection with them. And that's one of the things that in this update, I think it's going to make all of this feel a lot better, where you're more intentionally making decisions about what you're good at. First to damage, first to engage seems like an interesting choice from 51% damage. Curious, though, doesn't that open up power leveling groups having low level players just tagging FK? No, because we're going to be, we'll break down the specifics and the numbers and things like that more so in the blog coming out on that topic, but we're doing some things under the hood to kind of keep that from happening, essentially. So if you were to tag something and get credit, number one, there's going to be some amount of like upkeep for credit. So it's not like you're going to have to, you know, within a certain amount of time, not like, I mean, it's going to be somewhat generous amount of time, but you're going to have to do something. That matters more for things like, you know, like I don't know, like a raid target or a boss or a named or something like that. You can't just kite them around endlessly without doing any damage to it, or else that the credit rights will reset. But when it comes to that specific situation where you like tag it and then a high level wizard just like blows it up and you get the experience for it, there will be some mechanisms under the hood that will actually take into account, you know, how much damage was done by someone who didn't have credit, and it'll end up that you would get, you know, very little experience from that if that happened. So we're definitely gonna make it to where it can't be exploited right out of the gate. Necro summon skeletal wars. I know this is a touchy subject, but are there still plans for seamless zone lines? Yeah. Oh yeah. That is definitely the plan. And will be a reality, yes. Yes indeed. Yeah, Tabi, agreed. Like the whole 3 that druids have, yeah. I've been going ham on the Necro as well with my gathering stuff. Like, I've got all of my gathering skills maxed, I think, right now, except for maybe harvesting, I think, is the only one that's not maxed. And guys, I made 7 gold today selling dusts and runes. And I feel like I'm part of the elite class. I feel like a nobleman walking around Demeth. And then I saw, so here, I got it in chat, this is your fault. Like, guys, this is your fault, okay? Because in all the characters I've been playing, how many times have you guys been like, oh, you can get rid of that. Oh, you don't really need those. Oh, you can delete that. Oh, no, you don't need those. You don't need that. Yeah. And then today I see buying a stack of mountain lion beef for like 20 gold. And I'm like, How many stacks of mountain lion beef have I deleted? How many vials of, like, bear blood have I deleted? But the cool thing is I'm learning this current economy. I mean, the economy is going to be very different. Obviously, I know, you know, we've got some of the duping stuff happening early on, and then we've got you know, just, I mean, it's, everybody's been going at it for a while, so obviously things are selling kind of crazy right now. But it's been cool kind of slowly learning the Stormona economy a little bit, even though it's still very much in flux or settling. But I'm getting a feel for what things have worth, which is cool. You killed so many griffins and they dropped mountain lion meat. Yeah, that's a great way to build up on it for sure. Plus I like doing all the crafts on all my characters, which is why I want mail shared bank so much. Yeah, the mail system is going to be awesome. I mean, that all the way back from when EA first happened, we first launched, that was like easily the #1 requested feature from back then. Shared bank or mail, for sure. Oh, Dennis, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Well, by delete, I mean I don't usually delete anything unless I'm like out in the field, far away from town, and I'm encumbered, and I need to kind of drop, you know, like sub 1 pound of weight or something like that. That's when I'll end up deleting some things. But typically, I more just bring them back and sell them. But I just had no idea that players were paying that much. Dimmoth, another thing I've realized is that Dimmoth is like, at least on Stormona, Dimmoth is the hub, right? Dimmoth is the economic epicenter of Kingsreach right now. It's really cool to see. I mean, it feels very reminiscent to the EC Tunnel being an AVP, which is cool. I mean, it's cool for nostalgic reasons. I'm really excited to get an auction house in the game. I think that's going to do a lot for the vibe, and I think there can still be you know, unique auctions that players do, and flash sales and things like that players do stuff. But it's been cool. I've definitely been getting that vibe a little bit in AVP, like seeing the things people are trying to sell and trying to buy, and just remembering like being on a twink character and liquidating all my high level stuff to get goodies for like a new low level character, and how exciting that was. On your EQ server, it was the Face Buyers called Faymart. I like that. Faymart. Flange, we're going to have a dev blog devoted to the auction house, kind of detailing all of the mechanics of it. And with that will come a lot of info on itemization and item controls and things like that as well. 1 sec. Okay, good now, good. Cool. And yeah, I can confirm that in scope for the we'll talk about it more in the itemization blog, but item linking and need before greed are all in scope for the upcoming spring changes. Guys, this is what I mean. Like, there are so many things converging that it's just hard to like quantify. Like it's yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, and the goal is this. The goal is once spring hits, once these updates hit in spring, it's like, now at that point, you guys are just be saying, okay, guys, just like finish the world, please, so the game can launch. Because at that point, it's going to be like, okay, like we see it. Like, here it is. Here's all the combat and character progression systems in play. Now, lore, perception, quests, and world. That's where the rubber's going to meet the road, you know, just to like get, you know, this massive world that we are building done. But it's going to be like, okay, like, get it done. Yes, and the races and another class. There's another class I think that some of you might be interested in. Maybe, I don't know. We can't wait for you guys to see it too. Quest for the XP gap would draw more people in. Yeah, well, yeah, quests actually giving some experience would be a really good start, you know? Yeah. Hopefully Zoto's okay. Should be able to outrun that thing. I don't know, our leashing is pretty brutal though. Grix, yes, we do want to avoid quest hubs, but we don't plan to have as many quests, and we don't plan to have them grouped and kind of stacked in a way that would lead to hubs. So I think there's a good distinction between not having like a quest hub, linear quest leveling focus, but still have the quests you do have give a reasonable amount of experience for doing them. I mean, we don't have to go any further than the Nightbane robe quest. I was laughing with Combo earlier today because that's his quest. And I was telling him that about what happened on the stream. Where I was like, "You guys think this is gonna ding me?" And I was what, like a bubble and a half away from leveling. And of course, all of you guys are like, "What?" And I do think I saw the experience bar move a pixel. I think I remember it moving at least a pixel, but yeah, it wasn't quite enough to level me up. And I'm not saying it has to give that much experience either. I'm not saying like it's not that they have to give an insane amount of experience or anything. It's just it just needs to feel more worth the effort. In fact, that's going to be a big theme when we talk about experience in the upcoming blog, is not only with our quests but also with our kills. When you kill something, time to kill is going to be increasing with combat. I think you guys are going to love the tweaks in approach, because what it's going to allow us to do for the various classes is give you guys a lot more tools. It's going to allow us to relax some of the diminishing return type things and give you guys a lot more tools to deal with stuff in combat, to have more creative encounters where it's just not so rigid as it is right now. But the experience that you get per kill needs to be more, commensurate with a little bit of a longer time to kill, a little bit of more of a challenging fight, not having pushover solos anymore. You want to get that nice little juicy experience bump after you've worked hard to get the kill. Dark Forge, that's definitely one of the plans, one of the goals that we have, epic quests, and not only for like items but for abilities as well. Hey, Joppa, I'd love to see the intro class quests give you some noob level iconic items, caster robes, some starting armor, weapons, etc. Really get you into the class mechanics from the start. Deaver, we are 100% in agreement. Completely. We've talked about that a few times as a whole design team, that's something we want to see. Yeah. As far as Warrior goes, at this point, I don't really have a whole lot to comment on with the Warrior just yet. Like, I'm still pretty young here. Just kind of randomly throwing it out there. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts yet on this class, other than what I mentioned in the first video I did, which is that I'd like to see the Warriors be a little more shield oriented, or at least have a little more identity with their shield right out of the gate than they do right now. Hold on one sec. All right, sorry about that. I'm just aware too that playing the tank is going to be tough and streaming. If it to the degree that I want to be like interactive with you guys, it's going to be tough. Hold on. Honestly, don't know, and I'm new. Is there player housing in thought, like EQ player? Yeah, it's definitely in thought. It's something that we would like to do. I can't really say. We don't have like a very firm. It's not on a schedule yet. I'll say that. That's probably the best way to say it. It's not something that's on a schedule yet, but it is 100% something that we do want. So, yeah. I can't find... I'm trying to find your post. Hold on. No, that's not what I want to do. Hold on. There we go. I'm curious how this game is going to differ from WoW. I hate to keep bringing it up, but man, it seems like the progression is WoW's progression verbatim. How so? What do you mean by that, Dickie J? How are you seeing that being the case? Once you find a rhythm, you'll be good. Yeah, well, I mean, Crushneck, you're a great example of someone, I feel like, that does a really good job of streaming and being very engaging with while playing a warrior at a pretty high level. So I know there's hope. There's definitely hope. And I mean, always, you know, I guess it feels a little more concerning for me since I have very little going on right now as far as the class goes. So, but yeah, I just need to, like, I feel like with as much time as I've spent on the Necro recently, I would feel very comfortable playing that class. I just need to spend more time on the warrior, get used to it more. I think the thing that's going to hurt me the most on the warrior is definitely the same issues with like UI clarity and just being able to tell what's happening and who's it happening to and things like that. So, have I played any of the healers yet? Yeah, I've played a good deal of Shaman and a good deal of Cleric, but it's been a little while. But yeah, I mean, I need to get on the healers too. Don't inflate Crushneck anymore. It already goes to his head. Well, I mean, you know, credit where credit's due. Gotta say. You have certain items to chase per level versus gathering items that you can hang on to throughout leveling. I know you avoid the hard hitting questions, but let's get serious a minute. Who's watching TV in Avelia and this can't be avoided forever? That is one of the most classified pieces of information that could possibly be given. So that's not something I'm going to be able to comment on anytime soon. It's that big of a deal. Yeah. I really enjoy what Pantheon is. That's the truth. Nice. Good. That's good. That makes me happy. I don't think we're on track to be a WoW clone. I haven't seen like a good explanation of that, of what makes you think that that's the case. But to the degree that we can capture some of the essence of what made classic World of Warcraft good, while not feeling like or being an actual clone, and only capturing as much as we intend to capture and no more, then I think that's a good thing. But there just needs to be a very clear line between what we are trying to capture and what we are not. Shield Slam. Slam the target with your shield, dealing minor damage, interrupting spellcasting and silencing the target for 6 seconds. This is on a 20-second cooldown, 1 battle point. Let's do this. Let's go ahead, at least for now, and try this out. Let's get the shield on. Let's get shield slam added to the bar. R key is fine. We got 2, but I think we're okay. See if I can get both of these here. Do these guys cast anything? I'm assuming we want to save our shield slam for an actual thing to interrupt, but I don't see them actually doing anything that warrants interrupting. I thought the scouts did. But I am mistaken. Let's do it anyway, just for fun. Boom. There we go. I think this was my first taste of what a lot of people who play Warriors tend to highlight is it not being as easy to handle multiple NPCs at once, to like keep them locked down. It's gonna be close. Is Zoto a ranger? Yeah, Zoto's a ranger. Ooh! Yeah, me and my friends went and played the classic WoW re-release, and it was just as fun as we remembered. Very different game from New Age WoW, but both are MMOs. If you're saying games in the same genre are similar, it's like saying water-based substances are all wet. Yeah. Do we want to see if we can get a Jungle Gabi group looking for more DPS? Yeah, if we could get a DPS here, we'd be humming. WoW is nothing like any MMO. This is more like an EQ evolution to me. This is community. This is consequences. This is class diversity. WoW is a speed through all things. I played EQ for 15 years and WoW now 20. Both MMOs, nothing the same. I think that's true of modern WoW. I think classic WoW was quite a bit more adjacent to EQ in many ways. I mean, it's still obviously there were a ton of differences that it introduced. And, you know, one thing that we will never be, for example, is we'll never be a quest grinding, leveling game. We're on Stormrunner 0. That's what leads to quest hubs. If you rely on quests to be the primary kind of means of leveling, then you're naturally, as characters, you're going to go from quest to quest. Your goal is going to be to find quests and to do them as quickly as possible. we're not ever going to be there. But again, there's a difference between that and actually getting some experience with the quests that you do, which unlike now we don't. And you know that I mean, to be fair, originally that's one of the things we said is like we're not going to do experience for quests, or if we do, it'll be very little. Quests will be more about coin. It'll be more about faction more than anything else. That'll be the main way you grind faction. Oh, I'm not the group leader. Okay, perfect. Another way that we're not like WoW is with the extent of their instancing. So we are planning on instancing major boss encounters. We're planning on instancing most raid multi-group content. But we are purposefully not instancing anything else. And that includes like, you know, the actual dungeons themselves, and the more, you know, social and kind of shared experiences that you can have, the better. And that's another thing that sets us apart from being like WoW. And I think, honestly, I mean, come spring and once we make these upcoming changes, I think that will help us take a few important steps further away from WoW that we really need to take, and I think will help. That's the way I would say we feel most like WoW right now, honestly, is probably in the Chevron NPC thing. Because that's what kind of, I think more than anything else, makes it feel less like an open world EQ type experience. Let's see here. Taunt the target, forcing them to attack. Yeah, so I don't really want to be taunting unless I need to taunt. Because I believe we changed taunt to where it's not giving you like an aggro or like a threat bonus while the taunt is active. So I think I'm more just using it when I need to. Super trash. Catch you in a bit. Catch you in a bit. Oh, there will be no flying mounts. There will be no flying mounts. Just in case anyone needed to know that. In case anyone was wondering. I don't think my shield bash actually interrupts this guy's... It silences, but I don't think it works on... Oh no, let's test it. Let's test it. Give me a wild swing or something like that. Come on. Did that work? I don't know. Ay. Oh no, did he really, did Neff slip that? Are you kidding? Fishing maybe in summer, could be in spring. What? Okay. All right. Will there be a wide variety of ground mounts or just a couple of model types? Expected to be something that grows significantly over time. So when we first introduce it, it's going to be horses, and there'll be some distinctions between the horses, especially with some of the more rare horse types, but it'll be the same horse model. But then there'll be, you know, differences in like mane and tail and things like that. But then, yes, over time, we alluded to this a little bit in the mountain taming blog that came out. But over time, we have plans to add several different mountable creatures into the world that are all unique, obviously in how they look, but also like what kind of stats, you know, their stat recipes and kind of how their stats trend, and also different I don't know, different traits and quirks about them and things like that. Yeah. He's answering a lot of questions. Good. I mean, yeah, there are questions I think that are just like I'm answering some questions too. The majority, the bulk of the questions you guys have, you know, we want to save those for the diaries or the dev blogs. But there's a lot of like cool little tidbits and things we can include as well. I'm just happy to see everybody excited. I'm really happy to see that. I mean, not everybody. I'm not, you know, I understand that it's not all happiness. Yeah, it's juicy stuff. It's good. It's good. This group, I don't know. I don't always know how many people are aware that I'm streaming, and they probably see me or this character as like, I don't even know. Like, how would you interpret someone playing like I'm playing when I'm 90% distracted? And yet I find that like people are generally very nice because they usually don't say anything. Like no one's like, get this guy out of here. I mean, I hope that if we for sure, you know, can do the experience bonus thing, I'm hoping we'd be able to get that in as early as like when we patch next. Like that would be ideally just a ASAP type thing, you know. Nice little Christmas present. I mean, yeah, I'd be taking full advantage of that. Woo. And it's the kind of thing where if we turned it on, we'd leave it on, you know, all the way to the wipe. Like it's not something we'd have on just for a little while. We just have it on permanently till the wipe. Awesome, AK. That's awesome to hear. That's really cool to hear. The way you're playing is like the average Pantheon player, in my opinion. They do a good enough job for me to not call attention to how they're performing. Well, that's very nice of you, Steve. I feel like that's probably nicer than maybe is warranted, but I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Will PTR have guild functionality? Well, yes. I mean, in the sense that as we develop more things for guilds, you know, any and everything would be reflected in the PTR. And the PTR is where everything will go before it goes live. So, you know, if you want to be kind of the first to kind of see something as it comes in and as it's being tested and whatnot, then things will always go through the PTR before they go out to prod once that's active. I can't wait for the nameplate updates, like getting it to the point where you can turn off all nameplates except for like something that you have actively targeted. That's going to be so nice. That's going to help so much with clarity. Definitely one of my biggest gripes right now. Do I anticipate Eminem or Ashes eating some of the Pantheon population permanently, knowing the wipe isn't coming now? Permanently? I wouldn't say permanently. Any more so than was already going to be the case. I mean, if someone is like waiting for Eminem or waiting for Ashes because that's their game, then I think that's not going to change. I think the wipe might see some people trying out some of those games that maybe weren't planning on before. But I think we have enough cooking and enough coming in the spring when we do our update that anyone that ultimately is interested in Pantheon is going to come back at that point. For sure. Yeah. Plus, I know at least I don't think this is, I'm pretty sure Eminem's not going to do this, but I almost positive with Ashes that they're still going to have wipes. I don't think Ashes is committed to not having any wipes. I think it's been more the opposite, actually. But I could be wrong on that. But it's a new game. Like, I mean, of course people are going to play it, you know? Any time a game becomes available to play, then, you know, be a lot of interest. So one thing I miss about the Warrior, one thing I'm feeling right now, which I don't, you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this, but one of the things that I liked about the way Strike of Breaking worked before is that because it had a little bit of like built-in threat, I felt like being able to stack it felt good at an early level, because it felt like something I could be doing, actively doing. Right now I've got, you know, taunt obviously, but other than that, it just seems like I don't have a whole lot at this level I can do to build threat. Whereas if I could be stacking those Strike of Breakings, it's like, I don't know. I don't know. That's something we'll look at. Need some stacking dot. Isn't AOC PvP focused? Yeah, it definitely... Yeah, it has a whole lot of PvP. I know that's been one of the more controversial aspects about it, that people... It's been a little polarizing because they have been so consistent in embracing the PvP side. So, and I guess in the back of my mind, I always assumed that they would kind of soften up on that a little bit, which I'm kind of surprised, and I guess I kind of respect the fact that they haven't. At least to my knowledge, they haven't. But yeah, it's definitely... I think it's definitely more PvP based in somewhat of a... Like, I don't think you can really opt out of it. I don't think. But again, I could be speaking mistruths here if things have changed and I'm not aware of it. Heavy penalties for non-consensual PvP. I mean, I guess that's the way they're planning on managing it. Sounds like. Oh, okay. They've loosened up a little bit of the idea of safe areas now, but still no true opt-out. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be another one of those games where, and I think that's, for Pantheon, I feel like it was starting to head in a direction that could have been like destructive over time, because it's kind of a way, it's a little bit forced grouping, because the kind of situation where you would thrive in AOC, I think, in that regard, is if you run with a group or you run with a guild. And so it's going to be heavily favoring, you know, people that have the safety of an active, consistent group or guild. And if you're playing solo or you're, you know, trying to do pickup play, then you know, going to potentially struggle. Which is in some ways the same kind of road we were walking on, and that's what we were seeing. Like, you know, groups. If you're an extrovert in these games and you love grouping with players and you love talking to people, and you know, you've got like a pre-made group that you run with or a guild that you're really close with, then yeah, I mean you're thriving for the most part. If you're not, if you don't have that, like, been tough. But that's about to change. I'm hoping that we can have like at least a representative keeper system by the time we launch. Perception in regards to like just the way that it's going to be in the game, the way it's going to enrich the game, you know, be a part of like exploration and different quest activities and things like that is absolutely going to be the case. When you start thinking about things like perception experience and progressing through the system, or like a progressively unlocking bestiary and some of these other ideas. We're just going to have to see where it can fall in the timeline, and how far we can go with it and still keep it kind of fully intact across all the different content areas of the game as we develop it out. Like, it wouldn't want to be the kind of thing where it was like really robust on this continent, but the other two not so much. So we're just gonna have to see. It's something that we're working through heavily. Hey, Nicodemus, by the way, thank you so much for the tier 1. Sorry for being late on that. Really appreciate that. The 5 months. Congrats, Joppa, in advance on year 1 milestone in Pantheon's EA. It's crazy that it's been a year. Wow. Oh, I see the question. This was you, Chris Frozen, the question you asked. Are keepers still planned on being a thing? Yeah. Yeah. We shall see. We have decided with the keeper and the perception stuff that, and you've seen this already, that we're incorporating it a little more like holistically into just like quests and world interaction in general. We've actually taken some steps going back to what my original kind of vision for it was, which was just more of a baked in part of the game experience back when we, called it like environmental storytelling, and it was more just like kind of what every player experienced instead of opting into being a keeper. And over time, we've just, things have kind of come to a head, and we've decided most recently to kind of go back in that direction where perception is something that everyone really is experiencing as they play the game, but that we want to explore the idea that there could be specific hooks and ways of kind of tapping into it and progressing through it should you choose to go beyond that point. And that's what we need to develop out further is how that specifically would look. Any chance of a shared bank slot for us alcoholics? Terrence, we're going to be talking very soon about an actual full mail system where you would be able to it's not going to be a shared bank slot, but you'll be able to mail things to other characters, including your own. Nicodemus, you always ask such good reflective questions. And I love questions like this. Question if you're not able to see it. Joppa, if you could go back in time a year and meet yourself a year younger right before EA launch, what advice or tips would you give your younger self about Pantheon? Lesson learned, reflections, kind of thing. That was a good. That one got me. That was. I will admit that laugh. I will admit that laugh, Spectre. Incoming party wipe because Joppa is distracted answering a brainbuster. That's funny. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a me thing or if it's more like just general in general to game design or like being a game developer. But I would say for me, a big part of this journey has been one of, like, I would tell myself, like, be more confident. Be more confident in your ideas. Be more confident in your convictions. And the me from a year ago was much more confident than the me from 4 years ago, which was much more confident than the me from 8 years ago. There's been a steady growth there. But I think it's just always a need. I think people tend to view game developers as these like, and probably there are plenty like this, but just very like, I don't know. I see the way a lot of people talk about me in the kind of the idea of who they think I am, like the character of Joppa that they imagine based on what they see and how they think of me. I see a lot of that where they see me as this like very, I don't know, like prideful, not able to like see outside of my own way of thinking or listen to feedback or things like that. And I read that and I'm like, you know, it's, I don't, you know, we can't see our own blind spots a lot of times. So, I mean, maybe there is some of that going on, I guess, but, I think more than anything, it's been a journey of like maintaining confidence, you know, maintaining convictions, maintaining a belief in what you're doing. I was laughing at it a little bit today because, you know, with the announcement, like, again, not everyone is taking it super well. People have invested a whole lot of time, and I understand that. And I was laughing earlier. Not at that, obviously, but just when you start to hear things coming out of like, you know, this is the beginning of the end, like Pantheon's doomed, you know, you know, say bye to your, you know, what little population you guys had left, all this stuff. And you read things like that and Zigzag, this, this is the announcement of a series of very significant updates coming in spring, and with that is going to be a full character reset with that. So that's the announcement. But I was laughing to myself thinking, like, you know, if every time since I started being a part of this project, if every time I had seen someone say Pantheon's gonna die, it's, you know, this game's never going to make it past X or never going to accomplish whatever. I mean, guys, people were saying this kind of stuff back in the very, very beginning. Like, it's always been being said. And if every time somebody said that, we read it and we're like, well, crap, you know, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe this isn't going to work. Maybe it's gonna fail, you know, and we just kind of got lost in that, then we would, I mean, this would have fallen apart so many times, I don't even know if you could like quantify it. And yet we march right past all that stuff. Like, we did stick with it. We didn't fold. We didn't, you know, so many posts like, you know, they're not gonna make it past a year from now. Like, this thing, I mean, it's just, and it just we just keep going, you know, because of course, like, we're genuinely trying to make this game. Like, what? So we're gonna keep going, and this is no different. So it's just a confidence thing. It's just a continuing to stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish in the midst of the noise. Stay confident, not arrogant, not deaf to criticism and feedback and all that, but confident that you're on a good track, like you're doing something right. Keep going. That's what I would maybe say to myself. That's what I'd say. Yeah, zigzag. Yes, the W word. The wipe. That's just internet culture, consists of vitriol. Yeah, it is true, and I remind my team members of that often. Like, you know, if you think of Fires of Heaven, for example, like the Fires of Heaven board, and what is it, like 20,000 posts in there about Pantheon. What's interesting about that, and just how much absolute shade and just wild, rampant, you know, criticism and all that stuff of the game, and the memes and like the GIFs and all that, and yet the majority of people in that thread want the game to succeed. So it's just how we act. Like, it's internet culture, it's gamer culture. Like, you rib the crap out of things that you like, and you take out your frustration and your whatever in you know, ripping things up, but yet you want to play it and you want it to be good and you want, you know, all that. So I mean, a lot of it is that, for sure. Yeah, Deaver, thanks for that. Hey, one sec, guys. How is our own official Reddit going? It's good. It's going well. I think we had oh man, I can't remember what the number was. It was either 28 or 38k viewers or like visitors to the new Reddit over this past week, which was pretty cool to see. Child, yeah, that was my child. My youngest. Ooh. Why am I not using Storm? Forgetting to use Storm. Why? In that time. I kind of like that interrupt, actually. That feels kind of cool. I like that a lot on these caster NPCs that like actually pack a bit of a punch. Ding! Hey, level 7. Sweet. Nice. Any of my kids interested in Pantheon yet? kind of. Not really. Not really. My oldest is like at that age where he's sorry, Rogues. Keep like messing you up. He's like super into, I don't know, life. Life outside of the home, like friends. We were like super tight gaming buddies for a while until he hit, you know, the start of those teenage years, and he's kind of like, he's a super cool kid, and yeah, I just can't get him to like, you know, sit down and like play anything for any length of time. So not him. My daughter, probably among all of my three kids, would be the most likely to be interested, just to spend time. She's super creative, and I think she would get a lot of enjoyment around just the idea of a fantasy world. And I mean, all of my kids have contributed little ideas to the game here and there that have made their way in one way or another, which has been cool. And my youngest just likes for me to, he likes to watch me like be in a dev environment and kind of like fly around and jump off cliffs and just do crazy wild stuff. So, but I'm holding out hope that at least one of them will be an MMO player. Are they holding out for 1.0? Maybe they are. Yeah, Dad, you know, I think I'm gonna wait until launch before I really jump in. All right. Yes, that's true. That's true, Steve Fence. He could just watch the stream, because I do plenty of flying off cliffs while I'm just playing. Wild swing. This is definitely something I'm gonna have to get used to on the tank, because I am so like fidgety with my characters, and so like these rogues that are trying to get behind the target, then I'm like, I'm gonna have to, yeah. So what did we just get? We got exposure. Do you guys... At least you're not spinning the mob. I've seen some do that. That's... I will try not to do that. Probably the best thing for me to do is just to pick a spot and like stay put, and then you guys can adjust to that, because I find when you get in that dance of like somebody's trying to reposition it for the other and then back and forth, it just... So even if I end up on the same side you're on, I'll just stay put. You guys can readjust. Just let me play, maybe. I don't know. I mean, breeding is, like, mount breeding is definitely where things are headed. That's why we have the gendered, you know, mounts and that called out. But when that will be, you know, when exactly that'll be, I can't say yet. Will crafting always be viable? Will you tie in raid boss dropped items that are needed for some of the... Oh, yeah. That's definitely the goal, is to make sure that adventuring and crafting itemization, that they stay relevant. Oh, name's up. Nice. Marakakilaka. That's how you pronounce it, I think. Uh-oh. Oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. There's competition. Oh. Are we doing this? Are we doing this? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. I can't get involved. I can't get involved. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Fiffalo's already, oh. I'm just gonna hide behind a little... Well, yeah, well, yes, like, I mean... Report them to the GMs. No, they've been here for a little while. Because I saw them when we first got here. It seems like they've been kind of chilling right there. So I think they're probably... I think they're legit. That's probably is their area. So... as the current rules, the current, like, stated rules, yes, there's no, like... there's no official way of saying, like, this is my camp and you can't do this or that with it. It is very much a kind of an unspoken, like, etiquette thing right now. We are going to be introducing the first to engage system come spring, and we do have... I did draft a kind of a play nice policy guideline that we haven't imposed yet, but it's there, and I think it's important to have, because at the end of the day, like, you do want players to be able to kind of build out and carve out a spot for themselves, and I think it's good for the long-term health of the game to, I don't know, encourage players to, like, acknowledge that. And I've given you guys examples as to why I think that's important. You've been playing with the Pally lately, Thawal? He seems to do fine. Yeah, I've heard Paladins are doing really, really fine. They're in a really good spot right now. You think FTE is toxic? Really? Yeah, the indicator will be one of the adjustments that we're going to make too with the nameplates is the health bars being a little bit thicker, more easily to distinguish, and you'll see those go red if you have credit or gray if you don't. Dude, Cradu, I love Wild's End. If you haven't heard me say it before, I'm gonna say it now. I love this zone so much. It is wild. It is dangerous. It's vast. It's really cool. Yeah, yes. Yes. Being easier to click on other players is definitely like a high level wish list item of mine. If somebody's running across the screen a little bit away from you and you're trying to click on them to like see their name or like whatever, good luck. Your biggest skill issue with healing? Yeah, I feel that. I feel that. It's like... Yeah, if you do manage to do it, you're in the middle of like a click frenzy and you end up clicking off of it right away. See, let's watch. Let's try doing Zota here. So if he's standing still, it's fine, but it's like... Well, he's running too much. It's more like you have to be kind of moving across the screen. But it's bad. It's real bad. I want to look up and see what else I get at level 7, see if anything else. I'm curious. I might not get anything until 8, though. Look at that. Ah. Here's an interesting take. What if you had it so that both groups get their share of experience based on the damage they dealt? This would also feed into being able to do multi-group camps and more teamwork rather than competition. Who gets loot rights, though? Because I think in most cases, it's about the kill credit for the loot right, more so than just the experience share. Oh, Steve Fence gets loot rights. Okay, well that makes it easy then. That makes it easy. If only all of these decisions could be that easy. So, I want to, just going back to Warrior a little bit, we talked in the first Warrior video that I put up, striker breaking was really the only thing that I got to. But I want to go back to that thread on Discord. The Warrior Wishlist thread by Skunky. Let's see. Striker breaking, what's the next one? Pulverize. Actually, before I dig into this, though, let's see. What do I... At level 7, get exposure. At level 8, okay, that's when Pound and Pulverize come into play, and Shield Block. Okay. Wait, what? What are we rolling on? Oh, the necklace? I don't even know what's happening, so don't worry about me. Earrings. Yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about me. I snoozed and I loosed. I snoozed and I loosed. So next in the warrior thread here is Pulverize and Smash. Simple, effective abilities that consume a battle point to damage the mob and give it an outgoing physical damage debuff. Pulverize or stun the mob, Smash. The cooldown is reduced with every block once you have shield prowess. The good, damage is high. It's tied to battle points and not readiness, so you can use it when you are readiness starved as an additional threat boost, or if you are conserving readiness. And the debuff components are useful when they actually work. That sounds ominous. Hey, yes, thank you so much for the membership. I've been a freeloader long enough. Hey, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Thank you for the support, my friend. Yeah, the debuff, so when they actually work seems to portend some mention of them not working consistently. Chat, why am I not storming into the target? That's like one of the coolest things warriors get to do is they storm into the target, and I'm literally just frolicking up to it. I've got to storm. The bad. Pulverize debuff is tied to enemies being at low health. This feels bad since Pulverize gives you a way to mitigate damage. I'm actually okay with Smash not stunning on every hit. Warriors have other ways to stun and interrupt. Here we go. Nope. What? Did it say no path available and then put it on cooldown? Huh? No. No. Is that a thing? No. You don't put it on cooldown when you can't find a path. You just say can't find a path. Like in WoW when they say I can't do that right now. Did it just do it again? Now, granted, I'm like flying through the air and twisting around because I love doing that. I love that aspect of the movement of the game where I can like jump and spin and then storm like as I'm flying through the air. That's fun. But, huh? Oh boy. Okay, so is it that you can't do it while you're in the air? Can you storm while you're airborne? That's the next thing we need to figure out. That makes me unhappy. Jumping breaks it sometimes. Since you're not grounded, it thinks it has no path. Okay. Okay, well that worked. But I wasn't moving, I was just jumping. So... That is not good. That is not good. I don't like that. I don't like that. Adam, it's looking more like the summoner updates are going to be probably a January thing. But, well, I should probably say, it would probably be better to say a not this coming patch thing. There's still, there's a lot of stuff that summoners needed, and it is gonna take a little longer than the upcoming patch to get it all done. Forward storm. Wait. Not enough what? Is it endurance? Oh, yeah. Doesn't even cost anything other than endurance. That's interesting. I forgot about that. Huh. Yeah, Roboclaim. It's been so good. It's been so fun, too. I have loved it. Okay, we want to be on the scout. All right, so jump, storm. Okay. So it almost looks like it's like side, it's like horizontal movement. From what I can tell, anyway. Which is interesting. This is a great little camp right here. I feel like the goblin flow is awesome. Yeah, Joskar 100%. I mean, it's... Again, we have been so excited to get to this point because, like, we're just ready for you guys to have as many of your questions answered as possible and just kind of have that be the norm. Like, so ready to just, you know, have it all out there. And even with all the questions we've answered today, with the, you know, article that went out today, the knowledge that will be gained between now and the next, like, 10, 11, 12 days is going to be huge. Huge. What race class should I try out before spring wipe? Right now I have a 25 cleric. I don't know. That depends on, like, what you kind of are... What are you jonesing for? Like, what do you see people playing and think, man, that'd be really cool? Do I feel like there are enough mobs in camps to support multiple groups? Once we make the changes coming in the spring, I think we'll be in good shape, because the longer TTK and the emphasis on kind of upholding your sustainability because of the longer TTK, so you're trying, you know, not to like exhaust your mana or your different reserves. I think that's going to go a long way. Not to mention the fact that, you know, experience gain per kill is going to go up as well. So I think there'll be kind of a way that players will be a little more satisfied with less kind of inflow of mob after mob after mob. So I think it'll end up being a good thing. But I would also say that just like we did with the orcs, just like we did with Nightwolf Knoll, I think extending... again, we're going into detail on this tomorrow with the article or the blog tomorrow to talk about like the role that density is going to play, NPC traits, climates, fractures, different things, instead of just like blanketing all group NPCs with like this extreme difficulty, which has been the case up until now. Difficulty will be more in the hands of like how the NPCs are populated and their density and their movement patterns and things like that. So I think we'll be in good shape. I really do. And then we'll make tweaks where we need to. But it is going to be really, really, really good. A lot better on the whole, for sure. Ooh, doing a little dance. Look at that. Fairly new player here, started on Shaman, but just rolled a Ranger to check it out. This might be my favorite iteration of a physical range damage class. Love the in and out playstyle it offers. Nice, Topher. That's cool. That's really cool to hear. Really cool to hear. Somebody asked a question about trap parts earlier for Rangers. If you're still here, can you repeat that? Or if someone remembers it, can you repost it? I just remembered I saw it and then forgot to answer it. On my Necro, I also just got, I think the maximum upgraded mining pick. Like the 24 effectiveness mining pick. It's pretty cool. I would have been very tempted to mail my Necromancer the harvesting tool that I got from the Spirit Manor as well. Just because I've been doing all my harvesting on the Necro. Back to Pound and Smash. Or, I'm sorry, Pulverize and Smash. Ooh. So the debuff's tied to enemies being low health. This feels bad since Pulverize gives you a way to mitigate damage. And then I'm okay with Smash not stunning on every hit. Warriors have other ways to stun and interrupt in combat. Storm, Shield Throw, Shield Slam. I think the worst part about this component of the ability is that it doesn't feel like you have control of when the stun happens. Got it. And then desired behavior. I would like to see the debuff component of Pulverize decoupled from mob health percent. The debuff should happen every time you press the button, as it would give warriors additional physical damage mitigation for a longer period of the combat. It would also reward the warrior for blocking more attacks, because the more you block, the more often you can press Pulverize and keep the debuff going. It would introduce an element of active mitigation when the warrior is tanking, and makes the life of other tanks easier if the warrior is in a flex DPS role. With the current debuff being tied to a mob being lower than 40% health, it tends to not matter, since the mob is mostly dead by the time the debuff is actually applied. Come on, I want to interrupt with Storm. Cast again. Yes. Now do it again. Go ahead. Yes. Whew. Total lockdown. Mm-hmm. I'm iffy on Smash being an on-demand stun every time. This could lead to situations when you unintentionally trigger the rallied buff on mobs and may discourage warriors from using Smash as an additional threat strike. However, it could be a good thing too, since it would allow the warrior to interrupt 2 or more mob abilities, stun for anything with a cast bar, shield slam for abilities that fit the spells category. Perhaps change Smash from a stun to a knockdown, but only make it do the stun knockdown if Expose is on the mob. It'd be a good reason to put Expose up and give the group more control over when it happens. So I think if what I'm understanding here, the idea being presented is, oh, the worn short bow. Yeah, I think I got one of those. Where is Zoda? Do I have more than one of those? It's okay. He can have it. I haven't even had a bow equipped, guys. Anyway, it sounds like what they're suggesting here is that Smash would go to being more of kind of just a damage button and a way to get a little bit more threat, but would take advantage of something like Expose and actually knock the target down if Expose is on the target. I don't know. I'm going to need to come back to that one probably, because I just need to actually get the ability and use it a little bit to have a thought on it. But I do hear the part about the health range requirement on some of those, and it being a little like iffy on how good that feels. I think that's something we can look at. Oh, trap parts. Are you happy with the implementation? Specifically Rangers needing an item and Rogues not for similar function. We are going to be removing the trap parts component for the Ranger. They're not going to need trap parts for their traps anymore. We're still going to have the forage component for their tonics and their weapon coatings and things like that, but they're not going to need trap parts for traps. The main recap is skeleton pets are going to be using guns in the near future. Yeah, I mean, I think that's actually a great way to wrap up the whole stream so far. As far as what we've covered, yeah. Clown Core Man, we have a full character reset coming up in the spring of next year. And it is coinciding with a very, very significant list of updates that are actually the things that are necessitating the wipe. Yep. So no wipe until spring, and we're looking at some things to do just to kind of liven things up a little bit between now and then. Things like an experience bonus, kind of a permanent experience bonus up until the wipe, and a few other things. So we'll announce more on that soon. But yeah, we've got a public test realm that's going to be starting early next year as well, where you guys will be able to kind of check out all these changes and these updates and stuff as they're coming in to be tested and everything. I never use pulverize. It's not that useful on regular mobs, maybe on a boss, but yeah, I like that change. Skunk. Gunky. I just wasted my interrupt. That's fine. The updates list looks super juicy. Yeah, it is super juicy. It's even juicier than you saw because there's some things that weren't even on the list. How about laying traps out of combat only? I mean, now you're just getting crazy, Kurgan. I mean, now you're just... I mean, that is some crazy talk. Dual wielding for druids, it would be cool. 2x scimitars would make them more unique, stand out from other healers too. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't disagree that it wouldn't be cool, but I don't know if we're gonna go that far. I don't know if we're gonna go that far. I hit the wrong button. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Yeah, I think it'll be a great change for Rangers for sure. Doesn't feel right to throw around traps when in combat. Is the list juicier than skeletons? I mean, nothing's juicier than skeletons, Wolfgar. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That would have to be a pretty insane list to be as juicy as skeletons are. Especially the corrupted sprout bones. Oh my goodness. Dude. Yeah. Hey Joppa, how do you like readiness as a whole tied to techniques? Well, readiness is going to be tweaked a little bit, specifically in relation to techniques. So that's definitely going to be an important blog to read here shortly when the time comes. Lots of updates coming to skills, techniques, readiness, weapon choice. Oh, there's some cool things with weapons. Oh. Let me actually taunt this, sorry. Goodness gracious. We are almost level 8, guys. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work. But also something I've been thinking about this week and next week, maybe as much as I can, is I might try to stream daily for this week and next week. I don't know that I'll be able to go the normal amount of time each day, but I think it'd be really fun to be able to kind of like discuss, you know, these things that are coming out as they come out. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises because there could be like a day or two where maybe I can't do that, but I'm going to try. We will see. Nope, you come back here. Nope. Item binding in Vanguard was the death knell? How so? Pantheon. That sounds like Kungan, the way Kungan pronounced it. During beta, there was a lot of hype. They added two things. One was item binding, and you could feel the hype drain out of the game, and then fewer and fewer people logged in. Why, though? Oh, come on. Level 8. Level 8. Hey, level 8's a good... We get pound, pulverize, and shield block. We need to go get our skills. I mean, maybe. Hold on one sec, guys. All right, we're back. We're back. But yeah, the item control stuff, like bind on equip. So where did we leave off there? Lots of hype during beta. WoW 2.0 was thrown around and people are coming off EQ. Now that part I do get, like, because I remember feeling that way with Vanguard 2, or as well, because I was, you know, obviously played a ton of EQ, come off EQ into Vanguard. You're expecting, like, you know, it to be EverQuest, and so I could see myself back then maybe having a similar reaction, like, this isn't EQ like what do you mean I can't, you know, if I bind this, it's like, or if I equip this, it's bound to me, kind of thing. So I get that. I get that being like a special case in Vanguard's timing, not so much that it was like just, you know, carte blanche, like anytime this is added it's like bad, but I could definitely see that being a factor specifically with Vanguard's timing and its proximity to EQ and all that back then. It was endemic of their philosophy that they did a major write-up explaining why they did it, and it's generally the same reasons. Economic controls, they were suffering the same thing that they were suffering the same thing that all MMOs suffer, which was a mixture of inflation and market flooding of items, and the go-to is restricting players. Well, I mean, I am not doing a good job here. Hold on. I love that you can hit them with Storm twice. One at the beginning and one when they start to run. That's really fun. No, I missed it. Sorry. I'm trying to get too fancy. Well, but what's interesting though is like bind on equip still provides for the opportunity for twinking. Like if you handle it only through no drop, then that means, you know, unless you've parked somebody there to loot something, you know, you're never going to be able to pass it on. Whereas, you know, it's more just you can only pass it on once, kind of thing. So I actually I prefer bind on equip in the total kind of ecosystem of item controls. I prefer bind on equip more heavily, the use of that more heavily than just straight up no drop. I still do believe in no drop for certain things. Sorry guys, I totally, yeah, stopped that way out in front of the group there. I'm getting the hang of it. Getting the hang of it. Mr. Kavit, we will have a map. There will be a map. There's not going to be a mini map, but we will have a map. On a scale of 1 to unofficial subreddit, how bad were you thinking the reaction to the news of the wipe would be when you went live? I was definitely prepared for it to be really intense. I even had a couple of people messaging me like, "Hey, are you good? Like, are you sure this is good? Are you sure you're gonna be okay?" kind of thing, which I appreciated. But I think it's been encouraging to feel what I believed deep down is that the majority of people are going to the majority of people will fall in the range of making peace with it, and from that place of peace growing in their excitement for it to like just right off the bat being really excited about it. I that's where I expected most people to land. And I think for the most part, that's proven to be true. I think we definitely today, overall, across all of our socials, Discord, in-game chatter, it has been very positive on the whole. Very positive. Which is really, really encouraging. And I think that sentiment's only going to grow over the next few days as we put out more of these, because it's just going to get more and more clear to all of you. You know, it's going to be more of a shared vision of like what's coming in just a few short months. So yeah, I was definitely expecting somewhere around a 5 for sure, a 5 or 6 with maybe some blips of like 8. Oh, why isn't my... Okay, there we go. You think you talked the wife into restarting after the wipe? Nice. And I think, I definitely think, in a couple of days, giving it some time to... It's like I was saying earlier, it's like when you have that horrible death, and you're deep in a dungeon somewhere and you've been grinding for like several hours, you die, it sets you way back, and you just, you're just done. You're like, this sucks. Like you push away from the death. Like I'm not even going to bother to get my corpse back. Like you're just done. Like I think it can hit a lot of people like that, and probably did hit a lot of people like that right away. And then as you kind of just get some time away and you start thinking about it and processing it, and then when you start considering all the things that are coming and thinking about what the game is going to be like when that happens, I think there's definitely a path, even for people that it hit really hard at first, to be able to get excited about it. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, so I totally get that too. Totally get that. In terms of weapon, twinking, no trade. Has the idea of required recommended levels, giving partial stats depending on character level, been considered dismissed? I think it will more likely be handled through skill. Handled through skill. Can we have a highest fall damage contest the last day? I mean, I have that every day with myself. I'm always doing highest fall damage contests. Oh yeah, that. What is it about like Sorhirith that makes the legs like just go insane like that? We need to figure that out. It is annoying. It's annoying. Okay, let's sell some stuff. Oh, I never gave bro his bow. Need to do that. Now I want to save all the blood that I get. $24. Oh yeah, we're nice. Okay, so we need pulverize and shield block. Let's go ahead and pick Shieldman's banner, racial shouts 10, punish is 10. Ooh, I'm excited about punish and shield prowess. Let's get shield prowess, punish, rageful shout. Do I have enough money? No, I don't. Man. Oh, man. Now do I? No. I feel like I probably want that. Rageful. These are both pretty good. Maybe I. Quickness. Yeah, I'm not gonna sell that. I have a feeling that has to do with things being quicker. So, what's a bee's favorite type of candy? Bumblegum. Thank you. Thank you, Dayhawk. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. Why were my knees twerking? I don't know. That's what we got to figure out. Something about Sorhira just kind of gets in your bones. The proposed changes to get more bind on, pick up and bind on equip flags to help regulate the market are certainly welcome. Has the team considered anything like a pristine flag for items? E.g., if you loot the item until it's traded, it gets a minor stat boost, possibly in some non-mainline stat allocation for the piece, a point of resist, some endurance, etc., with an option for a minor mainline boost for higher valued items. Oh, okay, Zoto. Gotcha. I'll go ahead and equip this one then. Especially since I looted some of the arrows. Wait, do I... Yeah, cool. I can go ahead and turn this in. Hey, Kodith, what's up? The proposed changes to get more bind on pickup and bind on equip flags to help regulate the market are certainly welcome. Has the team considered anything like a pristine flag for items? E.g., if you loot the item until it's traded, it gets a minor stat boost. Until it's traded. Minor stat boost. I'm assuming you mean until it's traded or equipped, right? So like if I equip the item, I mean obviously if I equip it, it's going to be bound to me, but that would also make it lose its pristine status, right? But if so, then like what would be the point? So Is that just to say, like, just to encourage people to keep the item for themselves? Hmm. I don't know. Maybe think about that. I want to think about that. Because I don't, like, if I really think about that, actually, too, also, by the way, guys, I'm gonna probably need to go. I'm sorry, I need to get better at, like, giving you guys a better heads up. Let me see if are you guys gonna stay together? Do you want me to see if I can find a replacement before I leave? By the way, where do you get raven feathers? All I've ever found was crow feathers. I've found squirrel tails and crow feathers. I've never found a raven feather. In Hangor? What? Yo. Oh, okay. And where do you get the normal quality bear pelts? Just from roan grizzlebacks? Or do you have to get those in Hangor as well? Because, yo. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think about this a little bit. I need to process it a little bit. Cedar trees. Just the regular rabbit ones? Okay. Thanks, guys. All right. Roan will drop the bear pelts. Okay, yeah, I just have never seen one. That's crazy. I have gotten a few normal wolf pelts from the timber wolves, though, so probably just bad RNG. Mr. Boxy, thank you so much for the prime sub. Appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's an interesting idea, this pristine flag. Where I thought you were going with that in the first place was I thought of a so like Tarkov, for example, has a found and raid flag that, at least at various points throughout their different iterations or whatever, there were times where it governed what you could or could not list on the flea market, which is like their version of an auction house. And we've given some thought to, like, you know, how we might handle, you know, like if you've equipped something or you've traded something or something like that, then it loses its ability to be listed. Just to kind of help with, like, things getting flooded on the auction house. So this is an interesting idea. It's a little bit kind of adjacent to that. I just need to think about it a little bit and just kind of put myself through that thought process of, like, how would this actually feel as a player? You know, if I could buy something, but I knew that just by right of buying it and being handed it, it's going to be worse than if I went and got it myself. I don't know. I need to think about that a little bit. PvP server getting fresh start as well, or just going away from it? PvP servers will be wiped as well, yeah. So the character reset is across the board. 100% across the board. Server staying, yep. Yep. Pristine versions of items are only looted. Stats. Do I have to share camps on PvP server? No, those rules don't apply. The play nice doesn't apply on PvP servers. In fact, one of the things I'm wanting to ask about is whether we can actually keep the most damage done as part of the PvP rule set. Just to kind of keep things a little more interesting. Tripwire, yep. We just announced it today. We've got crazy updates coming in the spring of next year, and part of those updates will be a full character reset. Okay. Yep, I need to drop party. I've got to get some dinner, and then I got a lot going on with these dev blogs I need to get done. So I don't want to stop playing, but I need to. I need to be responsible. Can't just play video games all day. But I wish I could. I am hopelessly... I'm in trouble. But like I said, guys, I'm gonna try my best to stream daily this week and next, just with everything going on. So there's that. We've got something to look forward to there. Tomorrow, I am almost positive I'll be back on the Necromancer tomorrow, level 16. Not saying anything here, but, you know, maybe if we wanted to try to get a Mad Run Spiders group together, I wouldn't be upset about it. You know, it wouldn't bother me. Just saying. You know, just saying. But I'll let you guys know the time for that tomorrow. We'll get it posted. We got a huge dev blog coming out tomorrow, and we'll have lots of good discussion on that. So, but guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you so much for all the questions. I'm just excited. Like, I'm just excited to be at this stage of the journey with you all. And, you know, let's keep marching. What do you think, Dobby? What do you think? That's our little puppers. Let's see. He's excited. He's excited too. Hey, buddy. Ooh. He can barely even see him. Oh, man. Yeah. The age of imminence. We've moved into the age of imminence. The epoch of imminence. Not even the year of imminence anymore. I really will give this some thought. I mean, that's an interesting idea. So consider it something we will mull over. And then, yeah. But we'll keep going again tomorrow, guys. Stay tuned. And, yeah, just... I'm excited. I don't even know what to say. I'm excited. Thank you for the group, guys. And until next time, I am going to say that is a wrap for today. And I will catch you guys again very, very, very soon. Take care until then. Adios, my friends. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have my outro, like, it's not, you know what I mean? I started too early. Now we're ready. I'll see you soon.